to another video from me, That Running Girl. In today's video, we're going to be talking about injuries. Now, I feel like I have shot myself in the foot here because I have said for a long time, oh, I never get injured, oh, I can do anything because I never get injured. And now, it seems like I'm injured. But I'm not massively injured, I don't think, because I can still run, but I'm running with slight pain at the moment, which obviously isn't a good thing. And anytime that I get pain running, I always try and find the most accurate diagnosis myself. I don't rush off to the doctor or the physio because from experience that's never led to anything good for me. And it's just kind of actually confused things more because a lot of the time a doctor or physio, because running injuries, they can generally be 10 different things, then you're kind of left thinking, is it this, is it this, is it this? And like I said, it's just confusing. So the main thing that I have found works is, I know people say not to use Google, but personally I do use Google, and as long as you stick really rigidly to the kind of symptoms that you have and you kind of rule out things by thinking, oh, actually I read that, but that doesn't correlate to this and that doesn't correlate to that. You know, that's the way that I've kind of found out things. So anyway, I did a track session last Tuesday, which was an intense track session. I started getting some foot pain, top of the foot pain, during that session. I stupidly carried on, and I stupidly also went and did midweek mileage there the day after, running the day after that, and then a hill session the day after that. And then 2 days after that, I did a 10k run at 6.4 minute mile. So yes, that's kind of led me to where I am now. So like I said, I can run, but the top of my foot is not right feeling. And I just thought I would take you through a few points if you're feeling this kind of injury as well and you're thinking, oh, is it a stress fracture? Because I've had stress fractures in the past, and I wanted to just explain the differences between the two briefly, so that I could help anyone else going through this injury if you're going through this injury. So the name of what I think I have is extensor tendonitis, which generally speaking is top of the foot pain. So I show you where the actual pain is. So as opposed to a metatarsal stress fracture, which is usually somewhere along these bones, so these bones are your metatarsals, extensor tendonitis, the tendons are actually the connective tissues that like support the metatarsal bones. So where I'm experiencing the pain is kind of around this area here. And initially I thought, oh, maybe it's a stress fracture, maybe it's like a stress fracture of my first metatarsal. But it just didn't really seem logical because firstly, when I've had a stress fracture before, I can't put like any weight on the foot at all because the pain sort of comes up directly through the bottom of the foot. And then like I can't weight bear, I can't walk on it, or I definitely can't run on it. So there's a massive difference between running on it and being uncomfortable, you know, with minimal pain from something, and not being able to run on it at all because you just cannot weight bear. That's what a stress fracture is. So the top of the foot pain has, for me, come from an overuse. It's an overuse injury, and typically speaking, it is an overuse injury. It also can be caused by wearing shoes that are too tight. So if you pull your laces too tight, this can also contribute to top of the foot pain or extensor tendonitis. And I know for one that I have done this. I do this all the time at track because I wear a slightly different pair of shoes at track, and because I'm so paranoid about them coming off because they're so lightweight and the laces are so flimsy. I always tie them really, really, really tight. Like literally I can't even feel my feet when I tie these shoes up, which is obviously what has led to this. Also online it says if you change your training and you are running a lot more uphill, which as you know I moved 5 months ago, and for 5 months I have been training a lot more uphill, because when you run uphill your foot is kind of it's sort of bending upwards almost when you're running up the hill, and when you're doing that on a consistent basis it's obviously going to lead to pain. So those are the things that have obviously led for me to get this minor injury. I say minor injury. I really hope that I'm not like recovering too long from this. But realistically, if I am, it's not the end of the world. I have had a fantastic year running-wise and race-wise. I've run some really good times that I'm proud of, and I've had a really good year consistently. So even if I do have to swim and cross-train, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, obviously it's not something that I want. But I just thought I would, tell you about this. What I'm going to be doing in terms of recovery and what is generally recommended for this is to ice the foot and to rest and basically just keep off it until it feels okay again. Like I said, I could go out and run, like I ran 3 miles today, I ran 4 miles yesterday. I ran 4 miles after the race on Sunday to make it up to 10 miles. But there's no benefit in it. It's not like I'm achieving anything through this and I'm just actually making it worse. So I'm going to try and stay off it. So I'm going to go swimming and I'm going to check out the gym and see what kind of cross-training options they have. I will give you an update on this in my next video because this has really just come out of the blue and out of nowhere for me, and I do feel like I've cursed myself a bit through just saying all the time, I never get injured. So yes, the reason why I don't think it's a stress fracture, again, like I said, when you have a stress fracture and you put your foot on the floor, it doesn't matter where on your foot, you know, other than the heel, because if you put your heel on the floor, your metatarsals aren't in contact with the floor, so it doesn't really matter. But generally when you've got a stress fracture and you put your foot on the floor, you can really feel the kind of impact coming up through your foot and coming up through the injured bone. Whereas when I do that now with this, because it's just on the top of the foot, it's not like underneath the foot, I don't feel that. I can hop on it, I can walk on it, I can run on it. So to me that means, you know, that it can't really be a stress fracture, which is a good thing. So yes, also there's not a lot of swelling. There's not hardly any swelling at all actually. As you can see, my feet look pretty similar. And this is the foot that is slightly injured. So again, there's no swelling, there's no bruising, which usually is indicative of a stress fracture. So I'm going to take it easy, which is hard, because as runners we're just constantly wanting to challenge ourselves and get out there and run. But I'm lucky that it is kind of a downtime now, you know, the start of December. There aren't many races on. If I take it easy and be sensible now, I can make a quick recovery and come back for my next set of races, which starts in the middle of January. So I just thought I would make this video to help other people who've got top of the foot pain. Like I said, don't go freaking out thinking it's a stress fracture. If you can walk on it, if you can run on it, if you can hop on it, but it's just uncomfortable, it's likely you haven't got a stress fracture. If it is extensor tendonitis, it will go away with rest and ice. If it's not, you know, it might be something more complex, so that might be the time to see a physio or a doctor. I personally would see a physio first because I've never actually found that doctors really give athletes the kind of time of day, really. You know my feeling on doctors and the medical profession. Anyway, I hope you're all running well, and I will see you in my next video.